Welcome back to Turning the Page. I'm host Donnie Morse of Confetti Antiques and Books, and today we have with us Brent Ashworth. Those that were with us before the break, we saw The Christmas Carol by Dickens. Great book. First edition, first printing, wonderful story. Now we're going to talk some more about Clement Moore's St. Nicholas.
That's right.
Brent, what more can you tell us about it?
Well, it was written by a minister who also taught Greek and philosophy and a number of other things at Trinity College in New York. He was the son of the college president of Columbia College, it was then known as, in New York City. And his name was Clement Clark Moore. He wanted to write something fun for his children for the Christmas of 1822. It was just aimed at his kids. It was not supposed to be published at all.
Huh.
And so for years, somebody very early on thought it was nice enough to stick it in the local newspaper. And so it actually ended up, there's some question as to which newspaper printed it first. I have one of those publications, but I wasn't able to quite put my finger on it. And so there's some argument as to which newspaper published it. And then later it made it into book form because it was so popular. But it didn't have Clement Moore's name on it for years, many years. It wasn't until, well, he wrote it in 1822, and it wasn't until 1844 that it had his name on it.
22 years.
Yeah, 22 years. And by that point in time, there were others that wanted to take authorship of it.
Oh, really?
But the original early drafts of it were found, and of course his children knew that he'd written it. And it's interesting. I've brought a couple of different printings of it that are fairly early on. There's the first time it appeared in book form was in this publication here, which was known as the New York Book, and it came out in 1837, and it was just added as a poem. It went on for a page or so, just pretty short, 3 pages. And just
kind
text.
of an afterthought almost.
Yeah, just an afterthought at the end of the book.
End of the book, yeah.
Just text. This is a popular old Christmas ditty we've picked up, So we'll throw it in this
and obviously they didn't know who wrote it.
No, they didn't know who wrote it. It was just kind of thrown in. And in fact, I think there was, as I recall, there was even a newspaper early on, one of the Christmases, that said, if you know who wrote this, let us know, And Moore was a little embarrassed by it, to be frank with you, because he had written it just for his kids. And here he was, kind of from the upper crust educational circles.
Yeah.
And at that particular time, like I say, the ministers were not pushing the festival of Christmas. They were,
well, Santa Claus didn't really exist, did he, as we know him?
No, we had St. Nicholas, of course, from the old world, but Santa Claus was really invented by Thomas Nast later, the American cartoonist. But it is interesting. Here's another very early printing, and this is, I believe, the first, or one of the very earliest, if not the earliest, portrayals of St. Nicholas. Before he became Santa Claus, I guess. He looks similar. And with a visit from St. Nicholas, the poem. This came out 2 years after the first book entry, and it was the first illustrated book entry that we know of, a visit from St. Nicholas, which was the night before Christmas. And then it wasn't until 1844, like I say, that it was published for the first time in a book of Moore's poetry. He'd written other poetry, and finally, I guess they decided that they persuaded him to, his family and others, to publish it, because it had been published and so many other things. Put his name on it. This is an inscribed copy from the author. He's giving this to a gentleman. So it has just his handwriting in it, giving it away as a gift. And
not his signature, just his...
Not his signature, just he wrote to this gentleman, he says, with the respects of the author.
Oh.
And it was given away in 1846, 2 years after it come out. But that's that printing. And then there were some other famous printings of it. This is one of the more elaborate ones. This is by E.O.C. Darley, who was one of the great illustrators of like Cooper's books, James Fenimore Cooper and others. He did the Leather Stocking series. He did a bunch of others. And he came out with A Visit from St. Nicholas, and this was 1862. So this came out during the American Civil War. So it has some significance as far as American history goes. We weren't celebrating a lot of Christmases, during that, and it was felt...
or printing a lot of stuff.
Or printing a lot of stuff of this type at the time. But it was felt the nation really needed to, remember the lighter side of Christmas, too, with this. It has some beautiful illustrations by by him. Maybe I can just show you a few. It's really one of the prettiest editions, one of the oldest, in a single format. Now we're used to, I notice in your shop you've got copies of
Yeah,
The Night Before Christmas. That's great. So this was by far the most popular thing I remember growing up, but it had some Darley illustrations, and he was quite famous at that time.
And who did the illustrations here?
Felix O.C. Darley, and he illustrated everything from the Bible to Cooper's works to a number of other sets of famous authors at the time.
He was an American.
He was American. He was considered really one of our best illustrators. It'd be like Norman Rockwell, you know, a century later. Just really very well loved, and they're beautiful. Here's the tail end of it there. So really, we sort of, as Americans, kind of added to Christmas with our portrayal of St. Nicholas, Santa Claus. And then it took Thomas Nast a few years later for Harper's Weekly. He did that famous drawing that we look back to as really the beginning of Santa as we know him. And so that went worldwide from the United States. So we added to the Christmas lore.
Wonderful. Well, Brent, any last things you'd like to say about some of your Christmas collectibles?
No, it's just fun to share these at Christmas time, and I appreciate the opportunity of coming on your program today, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Well, we appreciate it. Again, I'm Donnie Morris, host of Turning the Page, and we've had Brent Ashworth with us. He has his own bookshop in Provo. It's B. Ashworth's, 127 West Center Street, Provo. Go over, take a look. Right now, his son is on the BYU football team, and so right now, Brent spends a lot of time on the road going to all the games, so he's not in the shop that much, but after the holidays are over and the first of the year, be sure to stop by 127 West Center Street, Provo, and visit with Brent. Brent, thank you for being here on our program.
Thanks, Donnie.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
It's been great.
Great
Thank
to be with you.